Fans, what's going on out there, man? It is the homie, main man, made man in the building. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, going down on Wednesdays and Saturdays here on Main Man, Made Man's Boxing, man. Hope everybody out there cooling this morning, getting down on your knees, thanking the man upstairs for opening your eyes and waking up for another day. You know what I mean? But without no further ado, let's talk boxing. So the thing is this: Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia is doing his, round robins and interviews now. The one in particular that we're going to deal with for this video is the one he's recently done with Chris Mannix over on PBC. And Mikey Garcia gave a nice long interview, man. The part that we're going to deal with for this video is the part where he is speaking on Bob Arum, and he is speaking on Terrence Crawford as well as Vasyl Lomachenko. That's what we're going to dig in. And it seems to me, man, Mikey has kind of exposed Bob Arum. It's hard to trust a word from either of these dudes, to be honest with you. Neither one of these men, to me, are qualified to be taking their word right off the jump. But the one thing that Mikey Garcia exposed that, quite honestly, I wasn't sure about was the fact that Bob Arum has been lacking in the communications department. A lot of us sit back and say, hey, Bob Arum, in order for him to get Terrence Crawford the right fights, he's got to reach out. Maybe to do something that he may not even want to do. May even pay a fighter that he may not even want to pay. Hopefully we're not buffering out there, fight fans. If we are, please let me know. But he's got to do it. And it's going to take communication. And so all of us are saying like, hey, man, everyone is ducking Crawford, and guys don't want to get in there with Lomachenko. But Bob is not initiating no communication. And these are per the words of Mikey Garcia. Now, like I told y'all, I don't think neither one of these dudes are qualified. Mikey in the past has shown little, moves that he's made that's been questionable when it came down to Yorkis Gamboa. Then all of a sudden, all of these financials. Mikey Garcia is a guy that revolves around the money. And when you got a guy that's always looking at them dollars and don't make moves, he only makes moves according to the money. It's hard to trust that guy too. You know what I mean? What do I mean, man? It's just the one thing that comes out of this as fact, and this is, you can do your own research, is that Mikey ain't lying. Mikey is actually telling the truth. And Bob Arum has not reached out to Mikey Garcia, and we're going to get more into it. And it almost makes me wonder how much that he's reached out to other fighters, to the PBC welterweights, to anybody for Terrence Crawford. It makes me wonder, has Bob reached out to anyone? Let's get into this, man. Let's listen to a little bit of the Mikey Garcia interview, and let's listen to what Mikey has to say.
But what about the likes of Keith Thurman, the Sean Porters, Terrence Crawford, Sergey Lipinets, a man at 147. You order Dennis Ugas as well, the Cuban. What is your, initial analysis of those guys?
Look, the welterweight division is very stacked. You got great talent, lots of champions. All the names you mentioned, I think would be terrific fights. I think I'm able to get in the mix with everybody, and I'm willing to do it. The only thing is, are they also willing to do it? Maybe they also have other options. Maybe they have different agendas that they're in search of. So I'm able to be flexible, but I don't know if everybody's available. I would love to get
there for a minute. He says he's willing to be flexible, but he doesn't know if everyone's available. Now, as Mikey will go on in this interview, he'll break down to everybody that he's down to face the Keith Thurmans, the Sean Porters, or the Danny Garcias. It seems to me he really wants the Danny Garcia fight. The only question that comes up to me about Mikey versus the PBC guys, this is not say like when Mikey fought Earl Spence Jr. When Mikey fought Earl Spence Jr., he didn't have a deal on the table. Now, Mikey is fighting under a deal where he signed with DAZN. And DAZN fights on a model where they're subscription-based. They are not doing pay-per-view fights. The PBC welterweights all want pay-per-view fights. Danny wants a pay-per-view fight. Manny Pacquiao wants pay-per-view fights. Earl Spence wants pay-per-view fights. They all have gotten a taste of pay-per-view, and that's what they want. They want that money. But Mikey doesn't fight under that model. So I don't know how Mikey is so anxious to face those dudes, knowing that the network that he's fighting for doesn't fight under the same business model. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Unless they are willing to come over to the zone, which none of the PBC welterweights at this point show any kind of inclination to do. So let's keep on going.
In the ring with all of them. I think a great matchup would be Danny Garcia. I think that would be a terrific fight. I know he was in search of a possible Errol Spence fight or Manny Pacquiao fight. So maybe he's trying to get that fight before facing someone like me. He already fought Keith and he already fought Sean Porter. But I haven't fought them. So I'm willing to get in the ring with Keith and Sean. I think those would be terrific fights also.
So you're saying that you'd be willing to fight Sean Porter in your next fight?
For sure.
If you can't get Pacquiao, let's look at, I talked about this with Thurman, but what's your wish list right now? Number one, I would say, is what, Pacquiao?
Commendable for Mikey Garcia to jump out there and say he's willing to face Showtime Sean Porter. Nobody says that they're willing to face Showtime Sean Porter, especially knowing what he brings to a fight. And not to mention his fan base is not the biggest fan base in the world. Now, Mikey could be just talking crap at this point. Like I said, a fight between him and the PBC welterweights are slim to none, and because they fight under different business models. But hey, he's saying on wax, he's down to take a fight with Showtime Sean Porter. I think Sean Porter will run right through Mikey. Let's keep on listening.
Look, Manny Pacquiao would be the ideal fight for me.
Yeah.
And that's what I would entertain the most. If that offer was presented to me, I would definitely explore that the most. But if that's not available, if Manny says, I'm not fighting Mikey for whatever reason, I'm fighting Danny or Errol or whoever it may be, then I'm going to have to look at whoever else is available, whoever else is left. If he decided to fight Sean Porter, then I may look into fighting Danny Garcia. But if Danny's
it just throws me for a loop how Mikey talking so much about the PBC welterweights. But how are y'all going to fight, bro? Eddie has not been able to close no deals with none of those PBC. How you running around mentioning these names? How is this going to come to fruition? Keep in mind also, fight fans, Mikey Garcia fights for DAZN now, and DAZN also has to sign off on all of his fights. They get options on his fights, or should I say. So it's up to them whether or not that they want to go into business with Mikey each and every fight or not. Mikey is fighting in a whole nother different business model, bro. Them PBC, he will have a better chance at facing top ranked guys, possibly than fighting PBC guys. But I don't know. We'll get more into this interview. Salute to John Lee Jr. in the building. Good morning, family.
For Errol, then the only one left out would be Keith. So then maybe I go with Keith. The only name that I'm not really looking at as much, and not because I wouldn't want to fight, but because I know the business would be probably impossible, would be Crawford. Being that I've seen Bob Arum maybe not say the nicest things about me. I just think that fight's probably out of the question. I've seen and heard Bob speak some things about me that pretty much tell me he doesn't want to work. So it's not.
So let me stop right there. Chin Smoke in the building. Good morning, family. So this man just told us that the Terrence Crawford fight is out of the question. Sorry about that. The Terrence Crawford fight is out of the question, fight fans. And he's saying because Bob Arum said some pretty bad things about me. Now, when I first heard this, I said Mikey now might be talking out his ass. I said, no, bro. Mikey, we're not going to let you get away with that. We know the problems that you and Bob Arum has had in the past. I'm not going to let you get away with that one, bro. No way. I would think that Mikey Garcia going to DAZN, rolling with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, rolling with Eddie Hearn, should I say, and Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn does business, this should be easy work. That's what I would think. So I said, no, Mikey, you tripping, bro. It's no way that Bob Arum has not reached out, has said, you mad because he said bad things about you. Cut the jokes. Let's listen a little further. Sound like you're ducking, Mikey. That's what it sounds like.
It's not that I wouldn't fight Crawford, and I don't think Crawford has anything, against fighting me. He would love to fight. But being that he's held by Top Rank and Bob Arum, that just complicates things for the moment. So I think I would look at the other options, like you mentioned, all the other names. Sean Porter would be a terrific fight. He stands and fights every single time he gets in the ring. So
Mikey is not putting this at the foot of Crawford. He is not saying that Crawford don't want smoke. He's saying that he can't do work fight Crawford because Crawford basically is aligned with Bob Arum. And Mikey's problem is with Bob Arum. And Mikey's going to get more into it. What is the problem? You know what I mean? That's the part I'm waiting on. But his problem is with Bob Arum, not with Crawford. And he knows him and Crawford would be a good fight. And Crawford would be down to take this fight. It's just something about Mikey, man. It's just, I don't know, bro. He just be rubbing me the wrong way with the way he be talking. Let's listen to more.
Fights every single time. I think the fans would love a fight like that. You know, Keith, same thing. Keith is there to fight.
You ain't fighting, bro.
And he's been a champion, unified champion, and I think that would be a terrific fight for the fans to watch. So like I said, I'm open to fighting anybody.
Mike, I think it's interesting, and I think it goes to show your character because not many people are lining up to fight Sean Porter because stylistically he is rather difficult to deal with inside the ring. So I think it's a testament to the fact that you literally want to fight anybody. And what you just told me, it sounds like you are open to a fight with Crawford if personal politics can be set aside. Is that correct?
Look, we would definitely be able to fight Crawford. I would love to fight Crawford.
What's up, K from KC5?
Bob always says that I'm too difficult to negotiate, that I'm asking for a lot of money, that I'd be asking for way too much money, you know, to negotiate. I'll ask him, when has he ever spoken to me about a fight? Never. Zero. When have we ever discussed a fight? Zero. Not since 2013, 2014.
Stop right there.
Not since then. So I don't know what he's saying when he says that I am asking for too much money. You know, maybe.
Now, let me stop right there. That's when I was like, okay. He is saying Bob, he hasn't spoke to Bob since 2014. We in 2020, fight fans. That's 6 years. We're in 2020. He said he hasn't spoke to Bob Arum since 2014. Then how in the hell all of these videos on YouTube about Mikey Garcia versus Vasil Lomachenko? Why are we making these videos? Why are we on here talking about, well, Bud need to fight XYZ if... So, I know what y'all saying. Well, main man, you can't take Mikey's word for it, right? So that's, you know, me. I'm not a guy that takes one person word. I'm going to go and take a look for myself. So I go and look up some things to see what Bob has been recently saying about Mikey Garcia. And of course, and if you go looking for the same thing, the first thing that you'll come across is the Ring Magazine article that got Bob Arum quoted in black and white, in which Bob has says about Mikey Garcia. Listen to this, fight fans. And I quote, "We had a dispute a couple years ago. But in boxing, you don't hold grudges. We're happy to talk to Mikey about fighting Terrence Crawford. Okay. Let him talk to us. And let's see if his financial demands are unreasonable or not. It's unfair for me to say that they are without even talking to him." This is funny. The same thing that Mikey just said, you know. Then he goes on and says, "We're working on a couple of opponents. If Mikey is available, I would love to do that fight." End quote. These quotes just certify for me that Bob has not talked to Mikey. Bob has not talked to Mikey. Hold on. He has not talked to Mikey. He says, and I quote, "Garcia has to call me. The fact is crazy." End quote. If you don't got no differences with him, Bob, and your fighters need a big name fight. At one time, Mikey was the WBC champion at 135 pounds. We really were banging the drum versus him versus Lomachenko. And you ain't even made a phone call. Bob Arum is telling you Garcia has to call me. Wow. Now, he's also telling everybody, I don't got no personal grudges against Mikey. You know, it ain't nothing from all the stuff that we went through. But he got to call me. Mikey made $7 million against Jesse Vargas. Mikey made $10 million against Earl Spence Jr. Why the fuck does Mikey got to call you? Why aren't you calling Mikey? Why aren't you calling DAZN? Like, yo, we got to work this out. Crawford right here, man. Mikey at 147. We need this fight. We need that name. Let's talk some business. Something. Pick up the damn phone. So what we gonna get? Now, I understand in Bob Arum's situation right now with Loma. Loma now has an opponent. He's fighting for undisputed. He's facing Teofimo Lopez. That's a beautiful fight. But what about Bud? What the hell does Bud got? What has he got? This was an opponent that's telling you, I'm willing to face Crawford, but me and you ain't seeing eye to eye because you out here talking bad about me. You out here not calling me. You ain't. Now, don't get me wrong. Mikey, like I said, when it comes to the business table, he's a hell of a businessman. And he's going to want his just due. And for a Turnbull Crawford, I can see him asking for a lot of money. If he asks for $7 million for Jesse Vargas, now we know that Mikey is going to want a lot of money for face Terrence Crawford. But once again, and I think we all in the same agreements here, fight fans, Bob has to make this investment into Crawford. He just has to at some point. It has to be an investment. At some point, you got to just let it go. They did it with Tyson Fury. And we all sit here every day and say, well, Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford perhaps is the biggest fight in boxing. Well, if Bob Arum was willing to give Tyson Fury all that money because he perceived him and Wilder to be the biggest fight in boxing, then why can't you do the same shit for Crawford? Pick up the phone, bro. Danny Garcia says Bob hasn't called me. Keith Thurman says Bob hasn't called me. Sean Porter, well, he's a special case. Earl says I ain't spoke to nobody. Nobody sent the offer. How am I not supposed to believe them, fight fans? When Mikey is telling you that the man ain't called out and Bob is basically saying the same thing. He has to call me. So how am I not supposed to believe those dudes when they say that Bob ain't reaching out to nobody? Bob don't want to pay nobody. It's hard not to listen to it when you see what the fuck going on right in front of your eyes. Tell you. Let's go through some comments, man. I see what's up, man. KP from KC5 says, I don't think Mikey want that fight, bro, just to be honest. Nah, he don't want that, man. Mikey may want to milk the system. Don't get me wrong. I know how Mikey get down, but it still says something that he lets out the bag that Bob ain't calling nobody. And I mean, that says a lot to me. That tells me, bro, that Bob also ain't on this job either. Mikey may be bullshitting, and Mikey may do want to take Bob to the cleaners, but unless they have a conversation, nobody ain't gonna know. I think Bob is just assuming. And don't get me wrong, I think Mikey gonna want top dollar, but Bob is also assuming, given that he's seen the purses of Mikey today, oh yeah, we know what Mikey gonna want. We know what he gonna want. KP says, I don't think that Bob has talked to Mikey either, but Bob ain't working on making good fights, bro. Facts. I mean, if he ain't calling nobody, he ain't. If he ain't calling nobody, he want it all in-house. Man, Bob ran out of minutes on his singular wireless flip phone, bro. Hey, Bob be shopping that cricket out here, bro. Bob better get it together, man. He need to pick that phone up, man. He need to pick the phone up. It's just like I be telling it's just the same way like it was with Manny Pacquiao. Bob be full of so many smoke and mirrors, man. Like everybody ran around and thinking that Manny Pacquiao and Bob hated each other. Man, these dudes are running a freaking scheme on people, man. Bob is promoting Manny Pacquiao's, co-promoting Manny Pacquiao's fighters. They both getting checks together. Bob is about to help Manny build up that stable and co-promote with him. Man, y'all better get hip, man. Y'all better get hip. Crawford don't have no more pieces. He don't talk, so we can't sell to urban America. Well, that's supposed to be Bob's job. That's supposed to be Bob's job. You know what I mean? Bob is supposed to be the one that's out here selling Crawford. And on top of that, he's supposed to be the one that's out here getting Crawford the best names. But he got to make a phone call. But also, I'm with you. Crawford got to take some responsibility for that too. But I'm aware of his personality trait. And every fighter is not Adrian Bronner. Some fighters are just G's, man, and they move in silence, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. I respect Terrence Crawford, but Mikey Garcia really let a mean one out with this one, man. And if other fighters come out and follow suit behind this and say, yo, Bob ain't called us either. We try to tell y'all. If Danny come out and say, yeah, you know, because from what I understand, Danny's offer was a $3 million offer that went to Angel Garcia. Not to Danny, it went to Angel on social media. So they can technically say, well, Bob ain't called us either. He just sent some bullshit off on social media. Bob got to step his game up because right now he not looking serious, fight fans. And I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned because it's like he was down to make that huge investment for Tyson Fury. Let Tyson Fury fight bum after bum after bum. Paid him all that money. And then got him that Wilder fight. Sit them across the street. Did the same things similar for Vasyl Lomachenko. Made sure that they got him a franchise belt. Made sure that he got all of the opportunities in the world. But when it comes to Terence Crawford, Bob ain't even making fucking phone calls. This ain't cool. This ain't cool. Ronnie Boy says Slim, Angel is the manager. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool too if he's sending it to the manager. But I just wish that hey, Ronnie, man, Bob has got to pick up that phone, bro. These fights are not going to just fall in the Crawford's lap, man. We know how skilled he is. You know people don't want to get in there and lose to him. Bob has got to entice fighters. This is his job. And I'm only holding him a task for his job. And for Mikey Garcia to say that Bob has never called, I haven't spoke to Bob Arum since 2014. He says, I haven't talked to Bob Arum since 2014. That's 6 fucking years. That's crazy. Loma ain't dealing with PBC fighters at 135 or 130, Slim. Clearly. All that Devin Haney's and the WBC franchise championship sealed that. You know what I mean? That sealed Loma's position where he don't have to defend against the other guys. But I think he'll face Tank. But Tank will have to. I think the only one he'll probably look to do is Tank. And I think because he could take advantage of Tank. But Tank will be the only one that I can see Loma really jumping out there on, bro. Rest of them, they're gonna have to go through loop after loop after loop. Devin Haney, forget about it, bro. Bob ain't making no phone calls. I'm just really disappointed over that fight, man. I'm gonna get out of here, man. But yeah, there's nothing more that can be said about this. I'm just shocked. We'll see how it go, fight fans. Hopefully we get the fights we want to see, but it's suits like this. It's suit crap like this that we got to talk about that hold up the best fights. And promoters not even really reaching out when they faking to the public like they are. I'm out. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, man. I catch up with y'all a little later, man. Stay safe out there, man. Coronavirus is real. Hashtag coronavirus is real. Y'all stay cool, and I catch y'all on the next one. Much love to the next one. Thumbs up on the way out. Peace out. Damn, Bob.